A student of mine once recited these words by Lucille Clifton, "Here on this bridge between starshine and clay," and said, "I think these are deeply musical lines, but I don't know why." The most difficult thing about discussing poetry is figuring out ways to substantiate what we often feel instinctively. Sometimes picking apart a poem can kill it. Wordsworth warns we murder to dissect, and Clem Brooks warns us about the heresy of paraphrase. But if you want to be a poet or student of poetry, we often need to put pressure on language like musical or beautiful to figure out what precisely we mean. This is a perfect example. We have the alliteration of bridge between, the S and SH of starshine, and the short I sound of this bridge, and even the first syllable of between, depending on how we pronounce it. The meter in these lines is one of my all-time favorite. Most of us are familiar with iambic from iambic pentameter, the alternating unstressed stress sounds of "but soft, what light through yonder window breaks." These lines are dactylic, dactyl like pterodactyl or finger, because we have this long section followed by two short, or stressed followed by two unstressed. Listen to the pattern of the stresses. "Here on this bridge between starshine and clay." Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. The meter in the rest of the poem is irregular, so when you encounter these lines, they really stand out in context. And finally, we might say there are some oblique kinds of musicality happening. This is a stretch, but I think there's something musical in the fact that this poem is actually in conversation with another poem, a poem by John Keats. His "On Sitting Down to Read King Lear" again has the lines, "betwixt damnation and impassioned clay." So we have these sonic patterns, these rhythms, and maybe these other more oblique kinds of musicality going on in the line. But what really interests me, and what I often pose as a challenge to my students, is to find a poem that's unrhymed, that doesn't have clear patterns sonically or rhythmically, and trying to make an argument for its musicality. The perfect poem for this exercise is "The Red Wheelbarrow" by William Carlos Williams. It's a hauntingly simple and beautiful poem, and I do think there's a real music to it, but I think it's almost impossible to say why. My students have come up with really interesting answers to this question. If you have any ideas about Williams, Clifton, or other musical poets, let us know. And finally, if you'd like to learn more about poets like Clifton, who visited our reading series in 71 and 91, visit our website through the link in our bio.